Welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Pop Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What it do, Nasboys crew?
So let's get down to talking about what an embarrassing weekend this was at Texas Motor Speedway. So let's talk about the Xfinity race. What did you think of it?
I think that the Xfinity race was obviously the best race of the weekend. Noah Gragson did get his fourth straight win, which is really impressive. The only other driver to win four straight races in the Xfinity Series season, of course, is Sam Ard. He won four straight races back in, I want to say, the early 90s, but I may be wrong on that. So if I am, comment down below. But I picked Justin Allgaier to win, and he was up front for some bit of the race, and he got taken out in a big wreck that happened on the backstretch. And if you haven't seen that, here it is.
Around the corner, he has a probable corner exit right here. See him get loose, and now he just spins around.
And Allgaier was just sticking his nose up in there because he saw the opening. He wasn't going, and then when John Hunter got loose, he just, he was still on the throttle, the 7.
But other than that, I didn't really get to watch the race. But Noah Gragson for sure, and I think me and you were talking about this. Like yesterday, we were talking like Noah Gragson is definitely the guy to be. Like he will pretty much get the championship unless he gets basically messed up by the playoff system. So I don't see him losing this title.
Yeah, Noah Gragson is definitely the new Mr. September, along with Harry Gant. I thought that's who you were going to mention, not Sam Ard. But one of us could be wrong. I don't know, because I saw something that said Harry Gant, but I was like,
that was the Cup Series. That was the Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could call Noah Mr. September Jr. But anyways, there's the Xfinity race. I didn't watch too much of it. I just watched like the final, I don't know, 80 laps, I guess. I saw the last couple of restart wrecks. Don't know what to say. It's just typical Xfinity Series racing. Huge wreck for Allgaier. He got airborne. Sucks to see as an Allgaier fan, but congrats to Noah Gragson. 4 straight wins, like you were mentioning. That's extremely impressive. Not many drivers in that series can do that, or really in NASCAR in general. They can't really do that besides like Larson and Harvick, but still really cool. Not too much to talk about with that race. It looked exciting besides all those wrecks.
Yeah, so. I will mention real quick that you're talking about Harry Gant. He won 3 of 4 races in September in 1991 in the Cup Series. And I think one of the drivers involved in the Texas wreck, I think, was Brandon Jones. I know there was a couple of the guys who run in up front that were involved in that. I think Ty Gibbs may have been involved, but
yeah, in my race pick, John Hunter Nemechek was involved as well. Yeah. I was just thinking, oh wow, I could actually get this pick right. 5 seconds later, he's in the wall. I'm like, great.
And one thing too, on Sunday when I was on the side of the highway with my car, not going anywhere, I was seeing all the Xfinity haulers going by. I'm just like, I wish I was moving. But anyways, what did the people have to say?
Off topic, you probably should have taken a picture or a video of that. I would have liked to seen that, but yeah, I know what happened with your car. That sucks. Anyways, 0% of you said great, 75% said good, 25% said message okay, and nobody said bad. Dalton.Malak_9 said, solid racing, lots of playoff drivers had trouble, which adds drama heading into Dega. Yeah, if Dega actually happens, 8 out of 10. Because the reason why I say that is because that Hurricane Ian is apparently coming toward where the track is. So I hope it doesn't hit where the track is. So I don't know what to say about that. I guess we'll make our picks for Talladega later in the episode, but I don't know if we'll have racing. We'll see.
I don't want there to be any hurricane causing damage. I don't want this weekend. Exactly. I was supposed to be going to, of course, Cherokee Speedway for the World of Outlaws Late Models. And then, of course, I was supposed to have a World of Outlaws Late Models race on Saturday. I was going to work. And those might get rained out. because of the
Yes.
hurricane, and then all the other things going on. Florida's probably going to get hit the hardest, obviously.
Hmm.
I also say, I know it's not related to NASCAR, but I saw there's football games being moved, probably because
Yeah, the Tampa Bay might get moved. They're going to the Miami Dolphins training facility, which we'll talk about with the sports episode probably.
yeah. But interesting.
So
I know Dalton's definitely really happy that his favorite drivers winning every week. But just
it's
to
just
let you know, Dalton, do not be surprised that the playoff system will ruin his chances to win the championship. And I'm sure you'll probably cry if that.
speaking of Dalton, he picked Noah Gragson to win Driver of the Day. Dalton, you are biased, my friend.
What else was he supposed to pick? He led the most laps. He led 80.
I know, it's a joke. And then another guy picked Gragson too, so Gragson wins unanimously. I think I have to agree with that as well.
Well, yes. I think those are definitely contenders. I want to say AJ was definitely a
Hmm.
decade contender for that. He led 34 laps. I know
Yeah.
Ryan Sieg actually finished ninth, but he was one lap down. It's really rare for a race nowadays to have only 8 cars finish on the lead lap, especially at Texas.
Hmm.
Austin Hill got second. That was really cool to see. But of course, the driver today would have to be Noah because he led the most laps.
All right. Now we are going to talk about the humiliating moment for NASCAR Texas. What do you think?
The disaster. But I mean, honestly, what do you expect? I mean, we saw how many people were not hyping up the race because of what happened at the All-Star race. So, I thought it was going to be better than the All-Star race, but it wasn't. I didn't get to watch it. I was just looking at Twitter every once in a while. Well, I had the opportunity. I was busy all day Sunday. But man, I did not expect there to be 19 cautions at least around that, like near the 20 caution mark. The race started at 3:45. They had a rain delay. It didn't end until after 9. Like, that's crazy. That's Code 600 material. But the tire issue is definitely a huge problem, Mike, as we can see in this race. And I know it was hot, heat probably had a factor to do with this, but I feel like NASCAR, like almost every single NASCAR fan is just tired of this next gen car. Everyone's tired of seeing the tire failures. Everyone's so tired of seeing the danger and the mechanical issues going on. The next gen car clearly has been rushed, and we're seeing what's going on. It's going to take another year or so until they start figuring more things to get this car right, because some of these tracks, the car's just not going to do well on. There's going to be wreck fest at some of these tracks, especially like Charlotte and Atlanta. We saw wreck fest at Charlotte, Atlanta, Texas, those sort of tracks. Short tracks, we may not see wreck fest, but we'll see bumping and banging and people basically losing their tires and all sorts of stuff from minor hits. So, it's a shame, Mike, that a lot of great cars got taken out and got, chances got ruined. Like Kevin Harvick, one of my favorite drivers, he blows a tire while leading and hits the wall. We saw
To the wall, the 4 blew a right rear tire.
Hold it, hold the brake, hold the brake,
While
hold the brake.
leading, Kevin Harvick into the wall.
Stay up there if you can. Stay up there.
Car's coming at Kevin. He slides down the track.
Are you
Everybody's
okay?
able to avoid.
Cody Ware absolutely nailed the wall off turn 4. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
Cody Ware in the 51. Look out on pit road. And that is a very difficult situation, as Cody Ware was not able to control that car.
Ways back of the car around like he's spinning out right here in this shot, and then don't know why he was sideways, having a mechanical issue, tire down, don't know, and then got turned to the right and head on into the wall.
But man, that was such a huge hit for Cody Ware. I mean, good grief, that was a pretty awful impact. It reminded me of like Jimmy Johnson's wreck from the 2011 Charlotte race in the fall, sort of like that. But we saw all sorts of different wrecks, and we're going to get into the feuds that were going on too. But Mike, hey, share what you think about what happened on Sunday.
Well, I saw like the final, I want to say like 80 to 100 laps. I can't remember when I came in, but I did get a chance to watch some of this race, and I was humiliated by what I was watching. Um, I don't think that people are tired of the, well, it's hard to say because I both agree and disagree with what you just said about the next gen car. I agree because people are definitely tired of these failures. I know I am for sure, but I'm not tired of the racing it's providing. I think that the next gen car is a great car, and I think it has potential to be even better. But NASCAR needs to do something with these problems because they're doing these cheap parts to save money for the smaller teams. But in reality, it's ending up screwing everybody. Um, I think that they should get the better parts back. I mean, I know that might hurt the competition a little bit because the bigger teams can afford the better quality parts, but at least we won't see cars on fire every week. I mean, we saw Chase Elliott, he was on fire. I mean, Cody Ware, he had to get stretchered off. Everybody thought he went to the hospital. He didn't, I don't think. He just had to go to the infield care center and supposedly had discomfort in his ankle. But we didn't see all that with the Gen 6 because the Gen 6 had quality parts. So I think NASCAR needs to figure out a way to get quality parts, but to make it affordable for these smaller teams. But I'm sure that's going to be hard because they can't keep using these crappy parts and ruining the bigger name guys' races.
Yeah, great point there, Mike. And Harrison Burton was another car that caught on fire in that
Mhm.
race. But I was looking through Facebook because I commented, I made a post on Facebook like Goodyear needs to go,
I
and
agree.
and I was hearing most people agree, but at the same time, there's some people that said it's not all Goodyear's fault. And I could
Well,
see where they're going with that because it's a new tire. Of course, they went single lug nut and on a new car. So what do you expect?
right. I mean, I feel like that's part of the problem. I think they should get rid of the single lug nut, but if they don't get rid of the single lug nut, that's fine. I think that either Goodyear just needs to do more testing with how they make the tire for it, or just switch to like Firestone or Pirelli. Because I've said this before at Auto Club when Tyler Reddick he blew his tire while he was leading, and all the tires were like falling off the cars. They should get somebody with who has experience with the one lug if they keep it. And then they finally stopped coming off. The teams got used to it, which is great. And the one lug hasn't been that bad. But I don't know. I still want to see Goodyear go because they just run their course. They've been through all these racing series and they couldn't make a good tire, really. We've had these failures for years. I think it's just time for them to go. They've run their course. But
Well, they have been they've been with NASCAR so long, like you mentioned,
right.
and they've sponsored a lot as well. I just feel like another thing that was a huge mistake was them taking the inner lining off the tires. I think
Yeah.
that was pretty awful. But Hoosier is a tire that NASCAR used to run, but at the end of the day, Hoosier has a tire shortage and they have a hard time with the dirt track racing now. So why they're not going to be able to provide for the paved racing.
No.
So what I think NASCAR needs to do is they need to have some testing with Michelin and Firestone, and they should allow teams to choose whatever tire they want.
I agree.
Because
I think they should have done that in the first
using
place.
Goodyear right now, and Goodyear's doesn't have a good tire at the moment, and at least let teams choose what type of tires they're going to use. I mean, at
Right.
least try Firestone, at least try Michelin.
Right, but I mean, I don't know if Firestone and Michelin is having problems because Michelin's got to support the IMSA series, I think, and Firestone
Yeah,
has to support IndyCar.
but their seasons are coming to an end, and it's not like they have as many cars as the Cup Series.
I could be wrong with it. I was only mentioning because there might be a tire shortage. I could be wrong. I don't keep track with that. So I just am trying to think like, is that their thinking, like why they won't come in? Or it's probably because Goodyear throws a bunch of money and they sponsored one of the races already. So I mean, talking about the race itself, it was better in my opinion. Besides all the tire failures and all the mechanical problems, it was a better race than the All Star race. There's a lot more passing. There was a lot more battling. So that part was good. I would give it a good rating if it wasn't for that. But we saw 3 front-running cars, including 2 leaders, wreck. We saw Kevin Harvick, like you mentioned. We saw Martin Truex Jr. He spun out. He had a flat tire. And then
On this tire as he goes into turn 3. You see it.
That seems to be a consistent number.
Yeah.
34, 35, right in that lap count.
I don't really know what I don't even know what else to do. I mean, how do we get to the end of this race? That's the question.
Well, not many, enough teams have tires left.
Yeah, but I mean,
run this whole way. And what do you do as a crew chief? What do you do as a driver? This is a very difficult situation for everyone to be in. Then the 11 car on the front straightaway.
Chris Buescher, excuse me, I get them confused now. He was running third, having a good race, coming off of his win, and then he blew a tire.
What happened in turn 4?
Looks like another right rear tire goes down. You see the smoke out the back of the car, hard contact with the right rear. Comes back around, swings into the right front.
Kevin Harvick too.
Yeah, I said Kevin Harvick, but yeah, everybody was watching their right rear. Joey Logano, he said he had a vibration coming from the right rear. He made it, and he finished second, but he was having a vibration. Tyler Reddick's team, they were concerned, but I'm sure that was just because of everybody. It's just a joke. I mean, NASCAR drivers shouldn't be worried about their tires that much to the point where they're going to come off and wreck them.
Well, at the end of the day, too, drivers need to be more careful with conserving tires now. And I feel like a lot especially with the newer generation cars, drivers and that are not as experienced, they don't really know how to conserve their tires.
That is true.
They need to learn that and realize that we may need to pit under caution, and not just for the stages like they did back in the day. But I will say another thing too. Kyle Busch, he was up front early. I had him in my fantasy lineup. He wrecked and finished last. And I don't know. Most of my fantasy drivers did pretty good. Ross Chastain was up front early. Brad Keselowski was up front. We saw, like you mentioned, great racing regarding passing, straightaway usage, drafting. I feel like was really good. But they always say everything's bigger in Texas, and we saw some big feuds on the track. So I want to hear what your thoughts are on Byron versus Hamlin and Larson versus Hamlin.
Okay, so first, my fantasy team, I had Larson, I have Chastain, Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, and Kyle Busch. He did nothing. But now talking about the feud, I've been waiting to talk about this. As Christian is eating, now I can make fun of him finally for eating on camera. Ha 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 ha. I didn't see what happened with Larson. I just heard Hamlin was getting upset, even though you were telling me it was his fault. I gotta watch the video of it because I was at work for the first half of the race. So I'm not gonna say my opinion on that, but
Once again, here comes the 11 as he fights. There's contact made.
About 7.
Hamlin into the back of the 5. The 5 still straight. This is how important a stage win is. Larson out of 4. Larson's going to win stage 1.
Turn 2. Then he gets a little bit up the racetrack. You can watch the fire out of the pipes. He's off the gas trying to stay off the side of the 24 car, but still Byron hits the fence, and he feels like that was Denny's responsibility. You can see how frustrated he is right here, running him shallow into the corner. Laps later, many laps later, he spins him out off of turn 4, and this is down the back straightaway under caution just now. And I will be honest, I think Denny was very close to spinning the 24 out right here. Really thought about doing it, possibly wanted to do it or was trying to do it. He'll be glad it didn't happen. So I don't even want to think about what NASCAR might have done had he spun the 24 under caution here in an obvious retaliation, right? So the argument is, this is out of turn 2, how they get together and the 24 hits the wall. And people are going to say, well, the 24 spun him out on purpose. But that's only when he admits it, right?
The Byron and Hamlin thing, I did take a look at. Hamlin fenced him. I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but he definitely fenced him. So I can completely understand why Byron was upset.
Yep.
Byron got his retaliation. Which was great to see. I've been wanting to see some retaliation on Hamlin for a while. He's done stupid things a lot, and that's another good example. So good for Byron for finally getting retaliation. But he didn't admit it. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know we were under caution or whatever, and I didn't mean to turn him." Yeah, you did, Byron. There's literally an onboard video of you. You're slowing down because of the caution, then he speeds up and hits Hamlin in the bumper. It was such a stupid excuse. I posted that earlier today, the day we were recording this on the onboards account, and I just am watching it while I'm screen recording and just taking a look at that. I'm just like, Byron, you're an idiot for saying that you didn't mean to do it. You clearly did, but good for you for spinning out Hamlin. A lot of fans seem to be very happy that Byron took out Hamlin as well. So I don't know if it's going to carry over because Denny Hamlin, besides that thing he did to Chastain, he has not lived up to his word of getting back to drivers. But he did do that thing to Chastain, though, at Pocono. So I don't know if William Byron's going to get retaliation, even though I think they're even personally. I think Denny Hamlin's just going to focus on trying to win a championship and then choke it.
He's going to focus on not making the Final Four again. But Hamlin is honestly the biggest crybaby and biggest hypocrite in NASCAR right now. Mm-hmm. He honestly is. He complains on Twitter after the races, acting like he's an angel, but he's not. He literally tried to dump Larson on the backstretch to win stage 1. He just runs into the back of him, and
if somebody did that to him, you'd get a whole thread of tweets.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, his tweets, some of them are facts, some of them annoy me.
Dude, it's crazy, dude. I'm sorry, tweets. Hamlin, if I were a Hamlin fan, I'm sorry for y'all Hamlin fans that may be watching, but if I were a Hamlin fan, I'd be embarrassed, honestly, because of course, Hamlin, he tried to put Byron in the wall. He hit him first, and then Byron spun him out. At the end of the day, I still find it funny that NASCAR acted like they didn't see what happened when obviously Byron spun him out under yellow. But then
that was another thing that was humiliating.
There's been accidents in the past where drivers have ran into other guys like during yellow and NASCAR not doing anything about it. Like I was actually watching a race earlier on in the year 1992 Goodwrench 500, and there was a wreck on the backstretch, and I think it was like Ricky Rudd and some other guy, Jimmy Means. And then all of a sudden, Rusty Wallace, who obviously he had oil on his windshield, so to be fair, he couldn't really see, but he just gasses it off turn 2. But then again, this is back when they had to race back to the line. He gasses it, it nails the 52 and spins him into the inside wall and keeps going. I find it funny that some people think that Hamlin just doesn't do anything wrong and just acts like, he's right every time when he's not. So, but anyways, what do the people have to say? I know Tyler Reddick won, which, is pretty cool. 3rd win. I'd rather see him win than Logano, no offense. I should have had Logano in my fantasy lineup, but anyways, what did the people have to say about the race?
I will say, on the contrary to Hamlin, Harvick speaks absolute facts on Twitter. Hamlin does not. But yeah, 20% said great, 20% said good, 10% said -okay, and here it comes. 50% said bad. Good for you guys. Thank you.
At least they're logical.
Yeah, exactly. PGABB Matt 3 says the pack racing was fun to watch, but Goodyear needs to fix their tires ASAP. I completely agree. Dalton.malak_9 says too many failures on the cars, not many green flag runs due to the amount of yellows. 2 out of 10. Take notes, NASCAR. You call Dr. Jones 28 says the racing was just not good, and all the issues that happened made everything worse. I can agree with you to an extent.
Yeah.
Davis Hayes 2006 just says Texas. Agreed. Yes.
Base Texas.
Hunter C _06 says funny with tire deaths.
Oh no. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but anyways.
Thoughts on the tire failures. Dalton says 3 words: pathetic, unacceptable, and inexcusable. Yep.
Yeah.
You call Dr. Jones says, seems like the issue is getting worse as the year goes on, not better. I hope it's better next season. Well, it did get better because the tires aren't falling off, but they're still spinning out, so therefore it is getting worse.
Yeah. Now, I will say that Texas, I don't think that NASCAR should go away from Texas. It's just like the track just isn't good with the next gen car and with the parts. Like, as we mentioned earlier, if it was last generation's car, Texas would probably be better. But I don't really know. Texas isn't a bad track. I don't want to see Texas demolished or anything. Like I saw some people on Twitter say. But what else do you have to say about the race? One thing I didn't mention that I thought was pretty cool was Justin Haley got third. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, he ran a good race. The top 4 was a little weird for a while because it was like Tyler Reddick, Michael McDowell, Justin Haley, Kevin Harvick, and then Chris Buescher.
Eric Jones was up there most of it.
Yeah, it was really weird. But Texas, I think Texas should be gone, but I know it won't because it's in the South, and NASCAR still wants to keep the South base because they know they're losing them to an extent.
Well, they don't really have any other like oval track around that area.
Yeah,
so they're gonna.
but I know they're gonna keep it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it off the schedule. I'm glad that we don't got to deal with it for the All-Star race.
And SMI owns Texas, so of course they're not going to get rid of it.
Yep, exactly. That's another good reason.
Eric Jones, of course, it was really cool to see him up there. Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell, another really cool driver to see up there. But what about driver of the day?
Well, Davis Hayes says about the tire failures that it's completely unacceptable. We also got thoughts on the Hamlin and Byron situation. 36% of people were on Hamlin's side and 64% were on Byron's side.
36 were on Hamlin's side. That's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that. 36%.
Parker _Davis 26 says Byron was in the wrong for sure. He should have been looking ahead and seeing that Denny had slowed for the yellow.
He obviously looked ahead.
He did, because if you watch the onboard that I put on the screen, he slowed down, and then when he caught up to Denny, he revved his engine and wrecked him. So no, he was driver of the day, tie between Tyler Reddick and Ryan Blaney. I'm gonna go with Tyler Reddick.
Blaney, how many laps did he lead? He led 29, Reddick led 70. Byron led 42. McDowell led 12. I don't know about this one, but man, there's a lot of guys that wrecked. I'm just looking at the results, but I'm gonna have to go with Reddick. I mean, why not? He led the most laps.
All right.
But one thing I will want to mention before we get into meme of the week. Thank y'all so much for your support on the Onboards account. We got probably one of the most viewed videos on our account in a long time with the Cody Ware wreck. I know we weren't able to get audio of it, unfortunately, but yeah, thank y'all for your support on that. It's crazy. We got 10,000 views in less than 24 hours on that post. So
well, hold up. I just checked that Onboards account. We hit 9K.
Yes, nice. Live reaction.
I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see that because it's on the selfie view, but it does say 9K. That's really cool. I've been proud to been running that account. I got to post more, but I've just been so busy recently with school and work. So apologies for that. But yeah, definitely a cool experience running this account. I've had a great time. I got to figure some more posts out. So yeah, thank you for the support on that account. Really appreciate it.
Yep, thank y'all. Now, let's get into meme of the week real quick. Clown of the week, we kind of already mentioned what the clown of the week.
There's 2 minutes on this meeting, so I might have to cut it because we go kind of long on meme of the week.
What's too fast? Okay, meme of the week. Okay, we got a couple options here. Florida Championship had two that were pretty funny. One of them was raging about Kevin Harvick wrecking. Probably one of the funniest ones I've seen, of course, was the Photoshop he did of Denny Hamlin try not to make a rival challenge, fail. Cops called clickbait. That was pretty funny. That made me laugh. Another one that had me laugh was NASCAR memes IG. Pitbull 0, Blackhead 0, times an illegible playoff driver won a playoff race 0.
0.
Another one that was really funny but had some language, but so I don't know if we'll show it. But Rowdy Fan 18, Goodyear constructing the worst tire compound to ever exist. It is just showing a horrible thing. But and then the Morecast meme he did of the Goodyear tires be like, that was pretty funny because that's an old throwback meme right there. If you haven't seen that one, then you just aren't a part of meme culture.
Okay, I think I gotta agree with the Rowdy Fan one, definitely, or the NASCAR memes IG. Easily. Let's see, we got a minute 43. Can we get through the picks in a minute 43?
My pick is they won't do Talladega, but they will reschedule it.
Okay. So for the truck series, I'm gonna say Zane Smith.
Truck race, Carson Hocevar.
Why? Xfinity series, I'm gonna go with dang it, I just had this. Austin Hill. There we go.
I want to say Daniel Hamrick and Noah Gragson gets put in the wall in turn 3 like last year.
Again, why Daniel Hemrick? Cup series, I'm gonna go with Eric Jones. Why not? Keep the playoff trend going of non-playoff drivers winning, even though Reddick was a playoff driver.
It would be really cool to see Eric Jones win at Talladega, but I have to go by what I picked early on the year, which was, if I'm correct, I picked Brad Keselowski win at Talladega, but we might see carnage, but I hope they get the races in. It may rain out. We'll see. But anyways,
That's going to close it out. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe we got this done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See ya.